So I've been here about, let's say about 10-15-ish minutes. I've literally been walking around my room in circles because, like I said, I'm just have very little motivation happening right now. It's not good. So this week, what my focus is going to try to be, I have a couple of things that I need to do. One, I want to finish getting all the boxes unpacked, but then I also want to clear out a couple of the closets that are in my other room and start moving some of those belongings into these two rooms. Now, I do want to really quick, as I kind of get comfy over here, I do really quick just want to talk a little bit about the room situation. So there are many of you that have been commenting about how we have 3 rooms and why are we moving all of the kids into those rooms. We needed a room big enough for us to be able to house our morning meetings and for us to also be able to have read alouds and things like that, things that we want to do together as one big group, if that makes sense. We want to create that community, and we as teachers strongly believe that we cannot create a community when we are all isolated into our homerooms. We believe that in order for that community to really grow strong and for us to build relationships across all 3 classrooms and for our students to also see us not as this is my teacher, this is your teacher, but these are our teachers, to kind of create that mindset at the beginning of the year, we wanted to have a space that works best for like fitting 73, 75 kids. So that's why we ended up deciding to have one room that was going to be empty. Now, by no means does that mean that room is never going to end up being used, because it's going to be used a lot throughout the day just to have the groups all together, but it also can be used for when I have something that I'm doing with a group of students, or maybe I have a bigger group of students depending on the skills that we're practicing. I could pull out into that room and use that room. So I have it, and I don't know if I can show you my partners. Oh, I'm gonna call her Miss W. So Miss W is my original partner, just to let you guys know, or Mrs. W, but I say Miss W so much easier. So she has one of these carts, and I have one at my house. I don't use it as much as I thought I was gonna use it in my house, so I'm actually gonna bring the cart here, and then I'm gonna use it for my space, and she bought one for her space. So let me show you what it is. So I know many of you have seen these carts. She got hers actually from Michael's, and I bought mine from IKEA. But what we are going to do is every week, this is going to be our cart for planning out our groups. So however we need to figure out how to kind of maintain files, papers, manipulatives, all that good stuff, all of our group materials are going to be placed inside of this rolling cart. So there's a bigger picture of it. Mine is gray, and it has kind of a, it doesn't have this flat bottom, so it's the wires that has all the holes in it, but it'll be fine. It'll work. It's perfect. So I have it at my house. I'm not really using it. I'm going to empty it out and bring it to school this week so that I can have it for my materials. She's going to have this for her materials. So that way, whenever I have that group that's like too big, or we're doing something that's a little bit louder because we're playing a game, something to that extent, I can always pull out into that 3rd room. There's nothing that says that we can't use that 3rd room, because there's not, just because there's not going to be any furniture in it. We're going to have a very nice big open space. We're thinking of putting benches all along the sides to kind of add that kind of fantasy, you know, forest. I think about Shrek. I think about the time when Shrek, when all the animals were like in his yard and they're all kind of camping out.
Oh no. No! No! What are you doing in my swamp?
That's kind of what I imagine in that room. The room is gonna work out great. And really, y'all, we had several days where we had all 40-something kids in our class. And this room is bigger, and we're not gonna have 40-something kids in this class at one time. So really, it's gonna end up working out just fine. The kids are not gonna be crammed together. Please do not think that we are gonna force these kids to be crammed together. We are wanting to create a space that works for all of us and to really work on building that community that we really wanna focus on. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that helps you understand what we're thinking about. Still not motivated. I am also working on filming my teacher planner video. So I was gonna do a planner video where I kind of walk through on how to edit it, putting my planner together, because I have yet to put my planner together. I need to get all the materials for me to be able to put my planner together, film it, and do a little bit of a walkthrough of how I'm gonna be using it this year. So very excited about that, but I need to get all the materials for it. And I need to finish a couple of other things on that teacher planner. Very not motivated, y'all. This may end up being one of those weekly vlogs that's just, I'm gonna write out a game plan. I'm gonna figure out what in the world do I want to do in this room right now, because I think I need bins. Like, I just quite don't know. We got a lot of bins. See, look at those bins. We have a lot of them. So maybe I don't need bins. Maybe. Okay, so I was able to find some containers, which is good news for me. As far as like the containers that I like to use to be able to store things, I just feel like it's so much easier to find things when you have things in a very specific little place versus having them all crammed inside of a cabinet or something, or like a drawer or something. It just doesn't make sense to me. So here are those containers. There they are right there. These are my partner's big ones right here. Those contain like holiday things. Because my room that I was in is not clean, I can't really get a whole bunch into there. I have to leave as much out of it as possible, so I can't go like in and out until after my room is cleaned, which is not a huge deal. So we're gonna leave some of the things inside of the closets for right now, and then we're gonna sort them after that. I think I'm just gonna go home. One, because I'm just not motivated. I'm in a really like funky mood right at the moment. I need to stop and pick up some paper at Staples. Then I need to stop and pick up my contacts. And I'm gonna go home. It is sweaty. I'm like hot and sweaty in here because they don't turn the AC on. I need to remember to bring a fan. Note to self, when you're watching this, editing it, bring a fan to work. What's good is that tomorrow I'm actually meeting my two partners here at school to discuss like what are we gonna do as far as our budget money, and then kind of just talk about placements for stuff. So that's gonna help me a little bit better. I think that's what I need. I think I just need them here to help me kind of figure out where I'm gonna put what, that kind of thing. So I'm gonna go home, and then I will be back tomorrow, hopefully in a little bit of a better mood. And I'm gonna take some allergy medicine because I keep forgetting to take that stinking medicine. Hopefully my voice will sound better. So I will see you guys in the morning. We got a fan up in here. Hello everyone. It's gonna be a little loud in this little video. I'm so sorry, but I need to have air. I need to have some type of fan or something going through here, and actually starting to feel pretty cool. I'm loving it, yeah. So I don't know how I survived as a kid, because y'all, let me tell you, when I was really little, I used to spend a lot of time at my grandmother's house, and I lived in Galveston, Texas at this time. Like, well, I lived in Houston. I was born and raised in Houston, but I lived in Galveston at this time, and this is where my grandmother lived, and I would go visit her all the time. Y'all, she didn't have an air conditioner. There was no air conditioner in that lady's life. Like, I don't understand how I survived. Like, let alone can I handle like Pennsylvania heat. I don't even know if I can handle Texas heat anymore without like becoming a huge like Hulk smash and wanting to destroy everything around my path. So today I'm gonna have both of my partners, Mrs. W and Mrs. T. So Mrs. W and Mrs. T are gonna be coming over here for us to discuss what we're gonna do with our budget. So typically a lot of the schools, like either PTO, PTA, however you wanna call it, will give you some type of a budget for the year. I think when I was in my old district, I had like $150 that I can use towards things to purchase for my classroom. I cannot remember how much I have here. I want to say 100 to be able to use, but we have 3 of us, so we're going to combine that. But then we also get like a book allowance as well. So we're going to get 2 different sets of money. So we need to figure out what we want to do with that. So we figured this would be a great opportunity because everybody was like at a doctor's office minus me. I was at my house jumping on trampoline. We figured all of us would just get together and just figure out what is it that we want to use our money for. Once we do that, I think I'm gonna kind of talk with my partner and just Mrs. W, who's in this room with me. I have Mrs. W in this room. So Mrs. W is gonna tell me exactly what she wants me to do with a few of the things that she has, like as far as her belongings go. And dang it, I forgot to bring my gray shelf. I'm gonna have to bring that tomorrow. Okay, note to future self, as you're editing this video, you need to make sure that you take the gray shelving and bring it here. All right, good job. Okay, so I think I'm in a little bit of a better mood. Can you guys tell? I'm not as much of in a funk as I was yesterday. Yesterday I was in a bad funk. I'm gonna start with something. I'm gonna start with something. I'm gonna figure out what the heck I'm doing, and then I'm just gonna go for there. And then I'll let you guys know what the heck I'm doing once I get there, okay? All right, bye. Oh my gosh, y'all, I went to go and scope out my other classroom, and it's like Christmas. It's like probably one of the best times of the year, because I'm just like, my lord. Because we got like school supplies already. So at the end of the year, and I'm sorry I'm whispering, I'm just trying to be like discreet. But at the end of the year, well actually it's not even the end of the year. I want to say it was like January, around like January, February or sometime like that. We had to tell them like they gave us like a budget to be able to order like school supplies, because in my area the kids don't have to bring in school supplies. Like they don't bring in anything. We provide all of those school supplies for them, which is awesome, and I'm very excited about it. So I requested some things and it's here. I can't even believe that I already got a lot of it in. How crazy. So here are all. They gave me these composition notebooks. I don't know if I like these. Not quite what I was asking for. I may have ordered the wrong thing. What are these? Permanent marker. Interesting. Highlighters. I got some post-it notes. All those are composition notebooks. Tabs for the binders, and then they have binders, so we're going to be using these as our binders for their data binders, but they're not going to be carrying these around. They're actually going to leave them inside of a shelf, so that's going to be cool. So all of those are just binders. Interesting. I got tape. I got some whiteouts. I love colored markers. Did I only get green? Are these all green? Yeah, it's green. Oh, and those are yellow over there. Oh, because I didn't have green. I think that's why I ordered those. I'm gonna order a bunch of these because they always go through these like water. Oh, the little sticky notes. I love these. Smaller ones. So these sizes. Very excited about that. Now I have to put that away, but that's not gonna happen anytime soon. Ooh, I got chart paper. Heck yeah. That's awesome. Very excited about that. I desperately need a chart paper. So I am very excited about that. That is disgusting. This little space is now done, kind of, sort of. We still need to fill in those, but I think I'm gonna just talk with Mrs. W before I figure out what exactly I want to put in there. Looks good, nice and clean, except that spot. Okay, so I went to my room right now to be able to go and get the binders so that I can try to fit them inside of this and see how many I can fit in here. And as I'm walking back, I'm like trying with my badge to get into the stinking door, and after about 5 times of like buzzing it and it not working, I realized, dumb butt, your badge doesn't work in this room. I have a separate badge that I have to use in order to get into this room. I'm a ding dong. Y'all, it's for real hot in here. Even with that fan, look at me, I'm like glistening. I was glistening. I'm a little sweaty. This is a lot of work. That's better. Ah, that's so much better. So both partners are here and we've been kind of chit-chatting and we started creating some mind maps and some fake schedules. So let me show you guys exactly what we've been doing. So here's kind of our little game plan that we've been coming up with. So we knew we wanted to talk about maker spaces, so we've been talking about maker spaces and just kind of mind mapping and figuring out some things there. Data binders, same thing here. Mailboxes for the classrooms, we put those there, and then a little bit of the beginning of the year things that we hashed out. And then we kind of come up with our schedule as well. As long as talking about what are we going to be doing in reading, and then I think we're going to do one in math. Lots of good talking. But I definitely needed to create some type of board map in order for my brain to wrap around everything, because it's a lot going on and I'm a little bit ready to go home. Okay, so one really cool thing that I wanted to show you guys is something that we're going to be doing just to be able to put work out in the hallway. And I did see this somewhere, I don't remember exactly where I saw it, but we had a parent who actually gave us these folders, which are huge. I mean, they're extremely long. And when you open it up, it has these little brads here that they can be able to punch holes and then kind of hang their work. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold them over, have these showing, and we're going to hang them up in the hallway. And then as the kids are doing work, they're going to continue adding onto it. So at the end of the year, y'all, we're just going to flip it over and boom, there's your portfolio for the year. Like, there's all of your things that you've done that you have like wanted to showcase here inside of it. So we're also going to put like their names going to be really pretty on this. So yeah, it's super cool. I'm really excited about it. So this is what we're going to be doing. I'm very glad that she actually gave these to us, because then I cost $0. So this is my current situation right now. This is how I think. I think lying down with my feet propped up. Thinking is hard. We are currently trying to figure out our blocks, because we forgot that we need to incorporate our PBLs. So it may end up being that maker space is ixnayed in order for us to be able to accomplish what it is that we originally set out to accomplish with this entire program. My brain hurts. Okay, I am going to head out, and then I guess I will just talk to you guys in the morning. So my voice is starting to get irritated. We're gonna keep hashing this out. Cross your fingers that we figure it out. Hey y'all, so it is Thursday morning and I am back in my room. So let me talk to you a little bit about what happened Wednesday. So Wednesday I get into my room and I brought both of my boys with me. One, because I really wanted to spend time with my boys and I thought it would be okay for me to bring them. So I have like a 10-year-old and then I have a 3-year-old. Well, I also, my boys wanted to really play with a huge box of Legos that my partner teacher has here, because they saw the box of Legos. We had to come get boxes Tuesday night. It was a whole thing. So Tuesday night we had to come and pick up some boxes because we needed the boxes at the house. So we got the boxes. My boys found the big huge box of Legos that my partner has, and they could not stop talking about the box of Legos. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna take them to school with me on Wednesday and they're gonna play and it's gonna be good, it's gonna be fun. So we get to school and it was good, y'all. Like, it was fine for a little bit. They were playing so quietly, like I had never heard my children play with toys so quietly. So they were playing quietly and then the bomb went off. Like, my 3-year-old threw the biggest tantrum, and granted, like, he woke up really grumpy Wednesday morning. Like, he was just irritable, he peed, and like, it's just a whole hot mess of a mess. And so we ended up I ended up bringing him to school, and he threw a bigger tantrum. And because we decided that we did not want to listen, and by we I mean him, because he decided that he was not going to listen, I was like, you know what, no, we're gonna leave. I was like, I'm giving you one more chance. You don't do this, then we're gonna leave. And I had him like in a timeout chair. Actually, I had him in the brown timeout chair. So that timeout chair over there, that's where he was having timeout. He decided that he was not going to sit in the timeout chair and that he was going to throw the biggest fit on the face of the planet, because when we sit in timeout, I want him to sit in timeout quietly. And he has to wait quietly for that amount of time. If he starts throwing a huge fit, then we're done. So then we just kind of ended up saying, you know what, I'm leaving. So I did film just a little tiny bit that day. So I'm gonna go ahead and insert this clip now. All right, down you go. Woo! Crash! Happy Wednesday morning, everyone. So I brought my boys with me to school today because they really wanted to play with the box of Legos that my partner teacher has. So thank you, Mrs. W, for letting my kids play with your Legos. So we had a really good afternoon yesterday. We were kind of just sitting down and I didn't really go over a lot of it because my brain was starting to hurt. I was feeling very stressed out after the end of it because there's a lot of planning and a lot of things to consider. And we're having to take 3 teacher brains and putting them together. And you guys already know that sometimes when you take teacher brains and you try to mesh them together, like you're gonna have things that you have to work through. So we have those things that we have to kind of work out. We have 3 different, like we all teach similar, but we're not the same teacher. Like we're different teachers. So we have to take those things into consideration and just some of the ways that we do things. So we started thinking about and just kind of brainstorming off the top of our head little different things, like beginning of the year things, like what do we want at the beginning of the year. And we're like, well, we really don't want them to be all with iPads at the beginning of the year because we want to make sure we're hitting those routines hard at the beginning. Data binders, we started changing that because I was having a really hard time with those 2-inch binders. We just don't know what to do with those. So instead, because we're gonna have online portfolios as far as like keeping track of like their goals and their charts and things like that, the graphs that they're gonna be doing, they're gonna have the flexibility to be able to put that into Google Classroom for their data binders. So we mentioned that we're gonna use this to kind of put their highlights up in the hall because these were free. We got them for free from a parent and they work out great. So we talked a little bit about that. We talked about mailboxes. We really needed to figure out mailboxes because I am a teacher that I do not like things out. I do not like to have a mess out, and because we don't have desks, the students don't have anywhere to put things. So we had to consider, you know, getting mailboxes, and which is what we're going to be doing. To put into the rooms, each mailbox is going to belong to a house. So the kids, right before we transition, or we're gonna give them like a 5-minute transition bell, they're gonna go into the room that has their house mailbox, if that makes sense. And then they're gonna line up from there to be able to go to the special that they're gonna be going to. We also talked about maker spaces because we really do want to incorporate maker spaces. We just need to figure out when we're going to be able to incorporate that, which with the schedule, we don't know our schedule, like actually like our real schedule right now. I don't think we're going to know our actual schedule until like mid-July, end of July probably. But we all know as teachers like our blocks of time. You know that you have this much time for lunch, this much time for recess, this much, so you can kind of take out times in the day and then figure out when do you want to do the blocks. Well, then we started thinking about, okay, well, if we have this much time for reading, what is it that we want the kids to be doing during reading time? If we have this much time for math, what do we want them to be doing during math? And that's kind of where we were trying to figure out yesterday. So we're still hashing it out, and it's okay. It's gonna take some time, but we're gonna figure it out because we're also wanting to make sure that we incorporate project-based learning. So the kids in this class are going to be working with economics, and they're also going to be working with life science. So we're getting them to learn how to build a garden within the school, which will have both of those standards combined, which will be really nice. But they're gonna have to do a lot of research in the beginning, which doesn't go with reading at the beginning of the year because we're doing literature. So lots of little different things that we have to figure out. So today we're not going to be spending a ton of time here. I was here for quite a bit yesterday, which was okay because both of my partners were here to be able to discuss things. But I also want to remember that it is my summer break and I do want to spend some time at home to be able to enjoy my kids. My kids really wanted to come today because they really wanted to play with a box of Legos. So I'm going to continue doing some putting up things so that I don't have as much of a clutter everywhere, because at the moment I have a huge clutter. That is kind of the question of the day. Where is everything going to go? And I feel like at the end of the year when you're packing things up, it's easy to pack things because you already have like your designated space. So like if you're undoing one closet, you're like, oh, well, these are all of my professional development books. Easy. But when you go into a new room and you're having like, you have all your stuff out, you have to figure out what is it that's going to be working in what closets. And then you don't want to just shove things in the closets, because then it just creates like this mass chaos of a mess that you have to clean up during the middle of the year, and nobody wants to do that during the middle of the year. So it's important to kind of take your time whenever you are putting some of these things up, so that you don't have this huge mess throughout the year that you're having to deal with. Because nobody wants to open up a closet, everything falls out, or nobody wants to open up a closet and have to dig through it to be able to find what it is that you need to find. Where to start? I almost feel like I want to take out all the books and just put the books inside of the cabinets, just to be able to get rid of those boxes. And then I need to figure out my partner's stuff and just kind of figure out where she may want some of those things. So we're ending up changing how we're going to do her little area back here in the very back. We're actually going to get 2 of those IKEA shelves, the ones that I have like that were in my room, and we're going to put them underneath the whiteboard, so she's not going to have that desk. I'm thinking about just taking that desk and just taking it home and giving it to one of my boys. They may be able to use it. We don't want to keep it here just because it's gonna, it clutters. It's a clutter of a mess. And I don't want to have too much furniture, because then it's cluttered. And we have plenty of space for kids to be able to sit, which is wonderful. Because it is a bigger room, which helps us in the end. After that, we went home and he continued just to have a really bad day. Y'all, I was so tense yesterday. Like, I just could feel my body. Like, my mood was bad. I was just tense because he was just having a really bad day, and it was causing me to have a bad day. Goes to show you that moods totally transfer. Like, if you feel in one way and then you're around somebody else and they're feeling that way, it's totally just going to transfer. It's really hard to like not absorb their energy. It's just so crazy. Anyways, so now I'm back in the classroom. Today is the last day that I can come for the week, because they're closed on Fridays. I'm not allowed in on Fridays, which is good, because that means Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I can have like some time. Now, I'm also not staying like the longest amount of time at school, y'all. Please don't think that I spend the entire day here, because I don't. I spend probably about an hour or 2. Tuesday was the longest day, but that's because I was working with my partners on that stuff that's back there. So my goal today is to be able to get everything unboxed, everything out of boxes, everything put away, so that when you walk into the room, there's nothing on tables, there's nothing in boxes, and you're feeling pretty good about it. The next week, I'm just gonna start kind of worrying about bringing a few things over from the other room, and I may end up doing some design stuff. So let me tell you guys exactly what I'm planning on doing, so that you guys can give me some of your input. So this wall back here is the same wall that has the blue where it has the choice in my room. I want to do just a fabric up there. So because we're doing like a historical fiction, and then you have like the maroon in the room, I want to do very like calming, warm colors in this room. Again, like I think of an antique map, or like Sherlock Holmes is what I'm thinking, is like the mood and the vibe that I want to have inside of this room. So I was thinking maybe like a tan color. Would that be too weird if I did like a tan on that wall? And by tan, I mean the tan that I used in my room. Let me show you guys. Okay. Oh, crud, it's like covered. This one, this tan. So what do you guys think? I'm thinking about putting this tan up there. That's the color I want to do on that big wall that looks like this. So the big wall that has this part over there. So right here is where I want to put that tan. You guys let me know. Is that going to be too blah, too neutral? Let me know. Okay, so then what I'm wanting to do, I think this is going to be like the biggest, like the coolest piece out of everything, is that we're going to gather like a bunch of maps. And if you guys know where I can find some pretty cheap maps, like holler at me, let me know, because I definitely need to find some. But we're going to fill this entire wall around here, not on this actual like bulletin board piece, because the tan's gonna get incorporated here, but the maps are all gonna be on this brick part right there, right down here, and then all across here is gonna be filled with all different types of maps to kind of incorporate that historical, that back in time feel. And then we're gonna put clocks up here. So have you guys ever seen where they have like Paris time, New York time, you know, it has all the different times up there. We're gonna have the clocks up there, and then we're gonna put the different times of the day, or times around the world up here, which is gonna be really cool. We're keeping it away from that clock so that the kids don't get confused because they will get confused. So that's what we're gonna do there. Haven't quite figured out what to do with this bulletin board or with that bulletin board so far. But I have that big wall down and then this big wall down here, and as well as these little pieces here. I don't have like a ton of bulletin boards that I like to put up throughout the year, just because I'm not a bulletin board person. I just can't keep changing out bulletin boards and I just don't like them. So typically what I will end up doing with anchor charts too is I'll put them inside of a binder so the anchor charts aren't up in the room, but the kids can still access them. Now I will leave them up in the room while as we're learning about that concept, but once that concept has been learned, those anchor charts will get put away inside of a binder and the kids will be able to look through the binder. And a couple of the other ones, like we're gonna have our houses, like our house scores, but the house scores are gonna be put into my room, which is gonna be the big room, the meeting room, kind of like the Great Hall in Harry Potter. So that's gonna be over there, and I just don't know, like y'all, I don't know what to put up on bulletin boards. We also did want to incorporate what the kids are reading. So maybe I can do something like that, but I'm gonna need a huge space. I wonder if I can fit all 75 of them on that board on either side. You think I would be able to do that? So I'm currently putting books away right now, and just to let you know, I am gonna put the little, we have to make some more of the wooden pieces that you put behind the books that I did in my old room, so that the books don't get actually pushed back. Because here in this little situation there, these books could go get pushed back. But I made these little wood pieces that I placed back here that would prevent these books from actually getting pushed back. She already had these pre-labeled, which is really nice, so now I'm just gonna go through and put them up for the time being until we can get those things made, because I'm not sure exactly when we're gonna get them made, but we do need to get them made, so that's what I'm doing at the moment. Almost done. Still have that box to do. There's a box over there and then a box there. Yeah, they're actually looking pretty good. It bothers me that they can get pushed back, and it bothers me that some of them are falling down, but I had to leave a little bit of a space in between some of the different genres, only because I'm going to be putting some of my books in there, and then I also have my other partner who is also putting some of her books in there. So between the two rooms, we have the different genres that we teach, and so the way that we organize our books is based on genres. So we have realistic fiction books, we have historical fiction books, we have fantasy books, we have sci-fi books, we have animal fiction books, lots of different genres that we need to organize. So last year we all decided to use my labels. So those are the color labels that we use, and that is available in my shop if you guys are interested in looking at it. But we all ended up just using those because that's how we're all going to organize our books. Now what's nice is that our names are going to be on it, so we all know whose book is whose books is whose. But it's all going to be mixed up in certain rooms. So this room in particular, the historical fiction room that we're in, is going to have fantasy, realistic fiction, historical fiction, and mystery, I believe. And then all of the other genres, like sci-fi, what else? Animal fiction, why can I think? Oh, we did one for graphic novels just because the kids like graphic novels, but I know that graphic novels is not a genre. Anyways, graphic novels is going to be in there. Traditional literature, maybe, I think is going to be in there. I can't really remember. I think so. But anyways, so we ended up deciding to doing it that way. So there's going to be some of the genres in this room, and the other genres are going to be in the other room, which is going to make it a little bit easier for organizing, if that makes sense. And I have a pretty good space. Let me show you guys. So like I decided to go ahead and put all of the, I think this is fantasy. Yes. So all of the fantasy books are going to be all over here. So I still have all of this space over there, and I can pull out into a space that we have on this side if need be, because I know that we have a lot of fantasy books that we use. So I can always pull out into that space. So here's the fantasy books. Then I have the mystery books that are going to be over here, so we can add all of those here. And then we have the realistic fiction, which are here, and I'm planning on using this space and then that space and then also this space that's right here, because I just don't think that we're gonna have enough mystery books to fill all this up and all this up, if that makes sense. And then down here are going to be the historical fiction books. So all of the historical fiction books are going to be here and then here, and if need be, it may not even be able to play out over there. We're going to have to just see how many books we end up having between all of us. So that's kind of the game plan. And then I was going to use this for young adult literature. Then I started using it for picture books, because sometimes you just have some of those learners who just need to grab a picture book, which is okay. And I'm not really sure if I want to leave it like this or not. So I ended up putting some of the picture books here, because I know in the cabinet that I have in my room, I'm not going to have a lot of space to be able to put all of our picture books. But I could put it there, and then my idea was that then the young adult section could go here, because this is where a teacher is going to be, so we can always see who's coming to the young adult section. We honestly do not want 4th graders reading a young adult book. We just don't think that's appropriate. So that's going to be back there, hopefully, is what my plan is going to be. I'm crossing my fingers that it all ends up working out nicely, so we'll see. But what's nice is that now I have all of the boxes cleared from there. Yay! So now I also cleared off my partner's little area over here. I was going to end up making that, but I'm not sure if I'm going to have time today. But a lot of her things that I just didn't quite know what to do with, I ended up sticking into her closet that's right here. So this is kind of her space over here. And I just placed it inside of there just to, get the boxes all out of the way, and all of her, well, a lot of it's unpacked. And it's nice and neatly organized in there. But I also did not, when they come to paint that, I didn't want all her stuff getting messed up. So I stuck it all inside of the cabinet for right now. And then when she comes, she'll kind of get it unpacked. But her little area is nice and cleaned off, and then this area for the most part is cleaned off. That bulletin board's not going to be staying like that, but I'm not quite sure what to do with some of this little area right there. For right now, it's just going to stay there. I did end up enjoying this little piece right here, the little basket that they use for some of the little rugs, and the kids love to kind of frame out their space on the floor with some of these, so it'll be nice to be able to get a couple more of those and stick them inside of that basket. And then today I went to Walmart and I purchased some of these containers because I absolutely love them. They're fantastic containers, and let me show you what I love the most about them. I love that they kind of have their little handles flip off and they end up stacking. So if you have been watching my vlogs, these are the containers that I used when I organized all of my games. So all of the different games that I have that I can use cross-curricular, I organized them into these. So here's the little label if you want to kind of screenshot that, take a picture of it. But this is what I'm using, not only for my games, but then I'm also going to use them for our book clubs. So any type of book series, so all of them are going to be placed in here. I'm going to put a little label right here showing like how many of a certain book we have, because it never fails that I always forget how many books there are in that group, because some of them are 6, some of them are 7, some of them I have 8 books, and some of them there's a ton of them like this. So we're going to put the book name, and then we're going to put the number of how many we have in there. And then I told you guys that this huge space up here in these cabinets is going to be dedicated to book clubs, just because we all, between the 3 of us, have a ton of book club books. So when you open them up, it's going to have the books nicely labeled. And I think I'm actually going to put the label on this side right here because it fits absolutely perfect. So it'll have all of the books that are in that book club. So it'll be easy just to kind of pull them out and use them whenever we need to get to them. But then we also know how many books we need to have to be able to put them back. So for the most part, I have a lot of it done, and I'm so hot and so sweaty, but I'm very, very pleased with the way things are going. Y'all, I absolutely love designing classrooms. This is like the best thing ever, is to be able to kind of create a space that is so magical and fun and just inviting, and I don't know, it's just something fun. I'm enjoying it. So we have these lights that my partner was able to buy. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these. We wanted to put them on this ceiling. Now we have little hooks up here, and let me see if I can show you these hooks, but let me very gently place these down because I'm always so scared that these things are gonna break. Do you see those little hooks right there. There's these little hooks. So we have those little hooks all over our ceiling room, which makes it kind of easy to be able to hook them in. Actually, I think these hook in really nicely anyways. Oh yeah, they do. Look at that. So some of them, or maybe all of them, have these little hooks to be able to hook them into the ceiling, which makes it even better. So if you're a little bit curious, she got them last year, so this is what they look like. They're very, very cute, very cool. I'm very excited to be able to put these up. But I haven't decided if I think I want to go this way. Does that make sense? I think I want to do it that way. Yeah, in the direction of where the lights are. I think that's going to be the best way of doing it. But then I'm going to have to try to connect it here, because that's the only spot that I see that it can be connected. So I really want to put some of these up. Should I try it? Should I try it? I don't know if I should try it or not. Am I gonna regret it in like 15 minutes? All right, I'm doing it. Two different things. One, yes, I am regretting doing this. I probably should not have started doing this. And I'm not gonna finish it either. I'm gonna leave the other ones in the box for two different reasons. One, I'm looking at it now and I don't like how it swoops. I want it to kind of go flush to the wall, so I think I may have to pull it a little bit, which I don't know if that's gonna work or not. And then on top of that, the freaking lights went out and I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what I did. They just went off randomly, so let me show you guys. Do you guys see what I mean? You see how it kind of swishes down? Do you think I would be able to pull and get that one to that point? I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of hoping that I can, but I'm not sure if I can or not. But that's the idea. So I want it to go here and go there and then come across and maybe skip the light and then come this way and then skip that one. So you're constantly skipping, but holy crud, we're gonna need a lot of those now that I'm thinking about it. So what if we went in between the lights? So if I went there and then brought it to this point and then came across and did it all the way over here and then took it to that point, came across and does that make sense? I don't know if that's gonna work either. I'm definitely gonna have to do some thinking on that because I'm not really sure exactly what I want to do. It is so freaking hot. Okay, I think I'm about done. Because it is just unbearably, uncomfortably hot in here without an AC working. And you're moving. Like, I'm sure it would be fine if I wasn't moving as much, but y'all, I'm moving. Like, I'm doing stuff. All right, my friends, I am getting ready to leave. I just really quick wanted to do just a little twirl to show you exactly how my room is gonna be left for this week. I'm very excited. It's starting to look really good, and I'm hoping that next week I can put up a few walls and bulletin boards. Cross our fingers that we can get to do that. So leave me some comments down below. Let me know what you think about the tan and what you think about the maps as well. And let me know what you would put up in those two bulletin boards that I showed you. So I want to know what you would do with that one, and then what would you do with this black one that's back here. So leave me some comments down below. Let me know what you would do with those. Let me show you what my room ended up looking like. It looks good. I'm excited. So there's my little space. And then you have the corner. There starts all the books. Nothing on tables. Little seating area. Another teacher space. The corner here. And the big table. It doesn't have any junk all over it. Looks good, doesn't it? Very, very excited. My son is having a play date, so I need to get going so that I can go pick up a couple of things for their play date that they're gonna have this afternoon. I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. Please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share it out. Be sure to leave some comments down below. I love talking with some of you. You guys are so sweet and so supportive, and I love this little community. So leave some comments down below. Let me know what you think about the room setup and what I should do with those bulletin boards, and then I will talk to you guys later next week. Bye!